Okay, we're precariously balanced, but we're just going to roll with it because I've just got my mic to work and I don't want to move anything in case it stops. Okay, so this is a mini series. We're talking about how to get a tattoo apprenticeship and how best to prepare yourself for a tattoo apprenticeship. So my name's Eleanor. I'm a tattoo artist and artist based in the UK. I've got my own private studio in Cheshire and I've been open now for 2.5 years and it's doing really well. Lovely customer base. I did start off with a tattoo apprenticeship and worked in a couple of studios, so this is kind of more from that experience. So obviously there's lots of different ways to get a tattoo apprenticeship, but this is just from my personal experience and hopefully some of you guys find it helpful. So first things first is I always say to start with your art portfolio. So when I got into tattooing, I had no idea. I kind of fell into it. It was a bit by accident, which sounds really random. But I was selling my artwork like full time at that point, and I was working in an art market, and I literally had a load of random people coming up to me asking me if I tattooed, and I was like, no, it's not really my thing. Like, I just found the industry like quite intimidating, if I'm honest. Anyway, so long story short, I ended up applying to a bunch with just my art portfolio. I had no idea about tattooing. I genuinely was not prepared. But I think I went to 5 different interviews for local studios that I'd looked at on Google. And just from my art portfolio alone, all 5 of them offered me the apprenticeship. Now, they weren't advertising. I'd just kind of like cold called a lot of them and sent my artwork over and just asked, like, said, oh, hey, I'm looking into this, kind of come in and chat to you. And so yeah, I genuinely believe that if you have a strong, like physically drawn art portfolio or painted whatever, it will really give you a good starting off point. You don't need to have all the expensive software, iPads, to get started. I didn't even have an iPad for like 6 months when I started tattooing. It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was hard work. It was an ordeal, but you can do it. You don't need it. So I would always say art portfolio is like number one main important thing. You want to really look at other the great thing about Google and things like that now and Pinterest and stuff, you can find other artists like really easily. So look on your Instagram, look on TikTok, wherever you want to find them. Look at kind of flash sheets that they're doing. Obviously don't copy, but get an idea of how they're laid out. Just start sketching. You want to look at different styles as well. So when you start your apprenticeship, you'll basically be doing a bit of everything. You'll be doing a lot of the small stuff. So like script, numbers, like, I don't know, fucking all that kind of the little stuff. So you're also going to be doing random stuff. Like someone might come in and be like, oh, I want like some Japanese waves, or like I want some script in like a Chicano style. And it's just good to get an idea of like what those things are. You don't need to be an expert in like every style, obviously. Your chances are you'll kind of already lean towards one style anyway. But it's just a really good idea to have a generalized overview and some kind of knowledge about, each style. I didn't, but it would have helped me a lot had I had that. And also, it's just the best, you want to set yourself up in the best possible way to get your apprenticeship, right? So, if they're seeing that you're adaptable, because as much as, these days a lot of people like to specialize in their own style and like that's what they want to do going forward, which is fine. When you're starting off, it is best to be able to have, the skill to put your hand to anything, because essentially you want to be earning money, don't you, right? As soon as you kind of can tattoo, you want to be in there like earning money. So you're going to be tattooing lots of different styles. So yeah, just get some basic knowledge. Start drawing them. I'd throw in there as well like your own style. Like if you haven't discovered that yet, that's totally fine. That's what kind of experimenting with all the different ones will help you out with, because you'll naturally start to gravitate towards one style more than the others. But yeah, if you kind of have, say, I don't know, you're really into like super colourful, like neo-traditional stuff, throw in a load of like really cool designs that you would be doing, say, for your first one. So keep them simple. You don't want to be too crazy. Honestly, I would say the first ones you're going to be doing are probably just line work and maybe solid black. Really simplified. When I first started, my first like flash were that I was doing, because basically when we were doing the apprenticeship, they'd kind of put out like a week's worth of tattoos from the apprenticeships, but they were like, they're free, you know, you come in, get all these tattoos from the apprentice. It's basically their first attempt. You knew they were going to be a bit shit, like so you generally had people that were like heavily tattooed, and they'd come in and basically give you one of their like spaces on their leg or whatever, and you'd like do one of your designs for free and stuff. And I, oh my God, I think I chose like, because I was really into like botanical and wildlife stuff. So I chose like a centipede, birds, like, I mean, stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. Sorry, my phone died there. But you want to keep it simple is basically what I'm saying. So yeah, general overview of your art portfolio. A3, watercolor paper. I've got an Amazon storefront that I've actually like listed a load of things that I would recommend using, like whether it's like smooth watercolor paper, you know, your Indian inks, certain fine liners, things like that, that I just use as an artist myself, but also would be great for your art portfolio. So just to keep things simple, I've listed them all there on the Amazon storefront. So if you want to kind of have a look. But yeah, A3 pad, like a portfolio to keep them in, to keep it nice, because obviously you're going to be going to different studios to have interviews. So you want it kind of all in there so they can flick through. Obviously get your art supplies, but yeah, lay it out like you can obviously have like full big pieces. I did, but I think it's nice if they can see, you know, it laid out like general flash would be, like tattoo flash. It just shows that you're not just an artist, you actively are drawing and creating and painting with a view to tattooing. So yeah, lay it out, look at other artists' flash sheets, get some ideas, have different styles in there. Definitely, if you've got your own style, have loads of that. And yeah, just really enjoy the process of building the art portfolio, because it is so important. And I think your love of art and the process really shines through. You know, focus on your clean lines. They really want to see that. Your use of light and dark, shadow. They have in tattooing, there's like a rule of thirds. So you basically want, you know, your solid black areas, your shaded areas or color, and then your open skin. So you want a basically like equal amount of all of those things, and it just kind of balances the tattoo out. So bear that in mind as well when you're drawing. Make use of that. What else? There's so much. Look at art books, you know, get some inspiration. I've also got a list of art books that I really recommend if you're into, so this is more for like the botanical wildlife stuff that I really like. But again, on my Amazon storefront, I've got like a list of books on there, as well as like the art supplies and things that you might need for your art portfolio. But yeah, just enjoy the process and just make it really solid, and you'll generally discover your style through doing that as well. So yeah, that would be my first tip and the very first thing you should do on your journey to becoming a tattoo artist. Hope you found this helpful, guys. All right, stick around for episode 2.